What's poppin', guys? Rebellion for April the 16th, 2023 is officially in the books. For the most part, this was a okay pay-per-view, and I really enjoyed the last two matches on the card. They were solid. Very solid. Overall, it was a decent pay-per-view. It wasn't their best, but Impact definitely tried. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't great. To me, it was just decent. It was decent. So, let's go ahead and get into the review, shall we? Let's start off real quick with the pre-show real quick. So, it was Shera and Champagne Singh versus Rhino and Heath. And just a random tag match they faced before. Shera and Singh, they win post-match. Rhino hits the gore. Who really cares? It's nonsensical. I don't give a damn. I feel bad for Heath because Heath has just been in that low mid-card for a while. And Rhino, just get him the hell off of my television. Make him a backstage producer, like ASAP, please. All right, next. The Coven versus the Death Dolls for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. The Coven, they retain. So, to me, that was fine. I don't know what you do with Rosemary and Jessica. I don't know. I would break them up, honestly. And I would kind of have Rosemary turn on Jessica. That's kind of really what I would do. There's not a whole lot of teams in the division that the Coven can face. And I'm glad that they didn't switch the belts here. I'm glad. So, that's just what I would do. All right, on to the main card. First match of the night. The Ace and Bay Connection versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the Impact Tag Team Championships. This match was decent. In the end, the Ace and Bay Connection, they retained. So there was, towards the end of the match, the Ace and Bay Connection, they hit the fold and the Art of Finesse on, I believe it was Alex Shelley. And then Chris Bay was able to retrieve both belts. He handed the first one to Ace, and then he got the second one. And then there was also a spot in the match where all four of them climbed on the cable and they all crashed to the ground. That was a really okay spot. But Ace and Bay, they retain. Makes sense. I'm hoping that Impact will bring in AOP. I think it's time to freshen up their tag division. Their tag division is severely lacking. And they've got to do better in that department. Moving on, Steve Maclin, he was backstage. He got a really good promo. Steve Maclin said it sucked to be in Canada and that it sucks focusing on Josh Alexander for a year to see him injured. He said that everyone forgets where he comes from, and he ran down where he was stationed at in the Middle East. I think he mentioned Iraq and Baghdad or something like that. I can't remember. And then he promised that he's going to win the title. A really good, solid promo. I like Steve Maclin. Steve Maclin kicks ass. Next, the Design versus Joe Hendry, Dirty Dango, and Santino Marella. So there was a 4-on-3 advantage. So there was a ref bump, and then Sami was about to hit the power driver on, I think it was Santino. Yeah, it was Santino. And so Diener, he gets the bat. He hands it over to Sami, and then Sami turns on Diener. He whacks him with the bat twice. He screws over the Design, and Santino hit the Cobra on Diener, and his team wins. So that's cool. I like that. It makes sense. This thing was a ruse from the beginning, and I think they need to go ahead and disband the Design, in my opinion. You could have Alan Angels go into the X Division. I think he'd be fine there. You could still keep him there as a heel. That's fine. And then you could still use Diener, but I would just use Diener as a mouthpiece for Big Con. And, you could do something with Big Con. Maybe put him in the digital media picture, because that's like their second coming of the television title that they had years ago. So I think that would be a way to really use everyone, instead of just, having Diener get revenge on Sami or whatever. But the right decision was made, and I'm glad. Also, Santino's son was there. That was pretty cool to see him there. I think he's maybe 8 or 9, I think. Moving on. So, Gia Miller, she interviewed Team Tommy Dreamer. So all the members were standing there. So Tommy Dreamer talked about his mom having a serious stroke this past week. He said that she always told him to move forward and not waste away. He asked for thoughts and prayers and positive affirmations said to him and his family. He said that his mom's eyes began to open, and he told her that he loved her, but she's still unresponsive. He also said that he's trying to fight and move forward despite Impact Wrestling offering to let him take time off. He said after tonight he's going away for a while. He said Frankie Kazarian just went through this with his family. Because not too long ago, Frankie Kazarian lost his father. Wow. Tommy said the reminder of his team are the people who left their families to pursue pro wrestling. He thanked everybody for supporting him. He began to cry, and he walked off. So this was great. I love this right here. And this was 1,000% real. Big ups to Tommy Dreamer. Big ups. Really, really big ups. That takes an incredible, strong person to go back to work and still do it. Much respect. Much respect. And we should keep his mom in our thoughts, prayers, and positive affirmations. Next match. Eddie Edwards versus PCO in a last rites match. This was an okay match. So, towards the end of the match, Eddie's wife, Alicia, she gets the shovel. She whacks PCO on the head with it to no effect. So then Eddie attempts to super kick PCO, but he accidentally hits his wife, takes her out. And then PCO hits Eddie with the shovel a couple times and Chuck slams him into the casket and closes the lid. And so PCO wins. And also he got busted open in the match as well. So there's that. Who really cares? I'm glad that the feud is over with. I don't know what you do with Eddie Edwards going forward. I really don't. He's done everything. But I don't know. I'm guessing they could have him revert back to being a babyface. He's been heel for quite some time. Moving on, what was a little downer to the show was there was an interview with Trey Miguel and Gia Miller, but there was a lot of technical issues on, I don't know if it was on Impact's end or Fight TV's end, I don't know which, but there were some audio issues. There were some technical difficulties, which sucks. Impact needs to work on that. That's not good at all. That is not good at all. No. Next, Trey Miguel versus Mike Bailey versus Johnathan Gresham. Triple threat elimination match for the X Division Championship. So, Trey Miguel pins Johnathan Gresham first. So, towards the end of that match, towards the end of the first elimination, Miguel hit a Meteora off the top rope while Mike Bailey while Gresham locked in the figure four on Mike Bailey. Then it was just Mike Bailey and Trey Miguel, and then thankfully Trey Miguel won. He rolled up Bailey with the tights, which was great. I love that. Right decision here. I'm glad that, he was able to defeat both guys and eliminate both guys. Because what I thought they were going to do is maybe have Mike Bailey defeat Johnathan Gresham, and then it's just him and Trey Miguel one-on-one. That's what I thought was going to happen, but thankfully he defeated both of them, so he pinned them both, which is great. I like Trey Miguel. I do. Him being heel makes a lot of sense, and it's actually a wise decision. I don't know who takes the title off of Trey Miguel. I don't know. I really don't. Moving on. So it's Team Tommy Dreamer versus Team Bully. So basically, Team Bully, they have the advantage because Kenny King won his match against Frankie Kazarian last week on Impact. This was a decent match, but it didn't need to come to this. So there was a bunch of, trash can lids, steel chairs, kendo sticks, and everything else. Killer Kelly did something stupid in this match. She stapled herself, and the crowd chanted, "You sick fuck," and I agree. That's like stupid. Why would you do that? And then everything begins to break down, where everybody eventually all gets in. So everyone battles, and then Bully and Tommy Dreamer, they battle. And so Dreamer sets up Bully on the table. So the referees, they hold the ladder for Dreamer, and then Dreamer, he hit the Superfly splash through the table for the 1, 2, 3. So that was great right there. So, nice little callback to that. Match was okay, but in my opinion, not needed. It didn't need to come to this, really. There's no point in getting that involved. I mean, I get it that you're in a feud, but we didn't need hardcore war because we just had one last year, and this feud itself does not call for that. This is not like it was with Honor No More in 2022. It wasn't like that. I felt like they could have done like a steel cage or a last man standing match or something like that to end the feud. That's what I would have done, but it is what it is. Moving on. So Nick Aldis, he comes out. He's going to be the guest commentator for this match, and it's official. He said that he signed ink to paper, the deal is not set in stone. He's officially back in Impact, and this is great. This is absolutely great. I love this. This is great. I figured that he wasn't going to go to WWE, and I figured he wasn't going to go to AEW. Both of those rosters are extremely bloated, and he would have got lost in the shuffle for being on both rosters. And this is why I said that Jay White should have went to Impact. If I was Jay White, I would have signed to Impact. A lot of people don't understand that. Sometimes just because you want to be on national television from a bigger promotion isn't always a good thing. You know, I really do think that Jay White should have signed with Impact. I do. Because you're going to get more attention. You're going to get to be an actual top guy in the company. Seriously. Whereas he's just going to be another number in AEW. And especially with CM Punk coming back. So, Kushida versus Steve Maclin. This match was physical. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were times in the match that I thought that Steve Maclin was going to tap out to the hover lock, because that's what Kushida worked on to lock in all match. He locked it in again really good. Thankfully, Maclin was able to power out. He hit the killed in action first. Kushida kicked out. It looked nasty. And then Kushida locked in the hoverboard lock again for like the fifth time. Maclin was able to power through that, and he hit a super KIA for the 1-2-3. New Impact World Champion Steve Maclin. Right call. But the match was solid here. The match was solid. And it made a lot of sense. So, post-match, Steve Maclin gets on the mic. He demands that Scott D'Amore come to the ring and present him with the title. So, Scott did so. And then Maclin shut him down. And he hit him in the back with the championship belt. And then Nick Aldis, he hit the ring. He got off commentary and hit the ring. And him and Maclin had a good little stare down, and then Maclin dipped out. So I like this because this sets up Steve Maclin versus Nick Aldis. Personally, I would not rush this at all. I wouldn't even do this at Slammiversary. I would do this basically around Bound for Glory. So I would not let these two cross paths until Bound for Glory. Because I don't want Maclin to be a transitional champion. And then the main event, Jordynne Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts World Championship. This match, like the previous match, was physical. This was great. I enjoyed it. So towards the end of the match, Jordynne Grace was going for the Grace driver. Deonna Purrazzo kicked out. The two of them continued to brawl back and forth with each other. And then there was a spot where Jordynne Grace was going for a superplex off the top rope. Deonna fought that off. And then she was able to hit the Queen's Gambit for the 1-2-3, and Deonna Purrazzo wins. Post-match, the two of them shake hands and they embrace. I thought that Jordynne Grace was going to maybe turn heel, but it didn't happen. And that's how we go off the air with Deonna Purrazzo celebrating. So the pay-per-view itself was decent. Like I said, I enjoyed it. The last two matches were physical, and they were great. I'm glad that both Steve Maclin and Deonna Purrazzo are now champion. Well, Deonna again. To me, that was the right decision with that. And Maclin winning was a no-brainer. Everything else on the show was okay. But Rebellion was okay. What did you guys think? Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.